Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. What is going on this Sunday evening? How you guys doing? I'm Alton Johnson. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, and for those who are here, go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button as you guys come in. Before we get ready to get started, it kind of helps with the algorithm so the video goes out. So let's go ahead and see who is in the house. We got Brother Devon. He's in here, but he said he's not going to be able to catch a live stream, unfortunately, because, he's not going to be here. So I guess he will have to check it out the next time. And we also got Sister Berean Babes in the house. How you doing, sis? How you doing, sis? Hey, yeah, you guys got to reach out to me to see if what day is good for you guys to have me on your channel. So I'll be in Indianapolis this week, so you guys can hit me up. I might have some time after work. So but yeah, shout out to Berean Babes. If you guys have not subscribed to her channel, I suggest that you guys do so. She has some really, really great content. So you guys go and check it out. You know what I'm saying? Right, she says yes, she gonna do that. So yeah, if whenever we get ready to have that live stream, guys, I will definitely notify all of you who are watching the channel. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for showing up to the live stream. Let's give you guys a hand clap. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And we're gonna go ahead and give people a few minutes to get into the live stream, because I know that some people, I don't know what it is, but some people have told me that they're not getting notifications anymore, although they've pressed the notification bell. So, and I don't know if YouTube is maybe shadow banning me, which would be weird, but sometimes I feel like that YouTube is shadow banning my stuff, because like sometimes I'll get certain videos that'll get like a nice little hit, and I'll be picking up views, and then it's like for some reason they'll just stop, and I'm just like, what, like what's going on? And then again, you got people who say that they've hit the notification bell. So whenever I upload a video or whenever I go live, they never get the notification, although they've hit the bell. And I know I've seen that happen to other YouTubers, who have been shadow banned, but I don't have any copyright strikes or anything like that, so it's kind of weird as into, why what's happening to my channel is happening. But I don't know, I do not know. Yeah, she said YouTube be tripping sometimes. Yes. Hey, Brother Spanish Fly, how are you? How are you? Grace and peace to you, Brother Spanish Fly. All right. Yes, Lily T, how you doing, Lily T? All right, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on here, and I know I say that all the time because I really don't be knowing how long I'm going to be on here. But this morning, I was feeling a little under the weather. My blood pressure was slightly elevated. Heart rate was going 124 beats a minute, and I wasn't even working out. So I don't know, it was kind of weird. So today I just kind of stayed home. I didn't even go to church. So I just kind of laid in bed, took a couple of naps because I woke up, prepared some food for for our church meeting. But, of course I didn't go, but the family went, so they brought the food there. And once they left, I hopped back in the bed, went to sleep. Woke up, was kind of hungry, got something to eat, and then shortly after I went back in the bed. So I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys continue to pray for my health. Spanish Fly says, Brother Alton, there are some words that messes with the algorithm and cause some people to not get notified. I never thought about that. Okay. But I wonder why though. I mean, because I don't really put anything in the in the description or in the title that would kind of sway people from seeing my content or that would be like any buzz or trigger word. So, I always try to keep my stuff clean, not for the sake of YouTube, but, I just want to be able to provide clean content for anybody who watches. You know what I'm saying? That's why I try to stay away from like conspiracy theories, and I don't talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on with like the Ukraine war. I don't get into none of that stuff, because you can kind of be, treading on thin ice with that. Lily T says hibiscus tea is good for lowering blood pressure. Lay off sugar. Yeah, and the thing about me is that I really don't eat much sugar. And one of the reasons is because I have gastrointestinal issues. So carbohydrates and sugars and stuff like that, I try to stay away from. I do try to stay on a high protein diet, to kind of regulate my weight and stuff like that. That's why, like, if you guys see some of my earlier videos, my cheeks are a little fatter because I was just eating whatever. But now, since I'm eating, a lot more green vegetables, I try to eat more organic and stuff like that, so to kind of regulate my weight, so I don't have that big belly like I used to. So it's like I be looking at some of my old videos, I'm like, oh. And what's so crazy is that I'm around the same weight that I was maybe about a year or two ago, but it's like my body is just different now. It's just, it's just weird. So, all right. But anyway, guys, we are going to go ahead and get into this particular discussion. Now, for some of those, who don't know, there is, they kind of had somewhat of a back and forth with Teotw Ministries. Actually, let me do this here because I want to bring this up. Y'all just bear with me 1 second, and I'm going to try to talk while I continue to bring this up. You guys know I've been having somewhat of a back and forth with Teotw Ministries, and they are I don't know. It's like a lot of their content and stuff is, well, actually, Teotw, Teotw, is an acronym for the end of the world, right? So the end of the world ministries, they focus on a lot of, quote unquote prophecy, a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So one of the conspiracy theories that they've been pushing is that the fact that Jerusalem is in Africa, right? So they've been pushing this whole thing, or this whole ideology, that the Jerusalem that we read in the Bible, is in Africa. It's not in the Levant region, what we've been taught, all of this time, and what scholars and what everyone has confirmed. Scholars and archaeologists, people have been over there digging up all types of artifacts and all of that stuff, confirming that this is actually the place, right? Like this is the place that is mentioned in the Bible. So anyway, let me see. Here we go. All right, so I'm gonna put this over here. And I'm not really gonna go through the whole history because the last time I did that, it took me about an hour to kind of go through all of that, the background of how we got to this point. And I know right now, I really don't want to respond to these guys because I didn't think that it was. I just didn't think that it was necessary at this point. I'm just one of those people that I just don't like the back and forth. I really don't, especially not on the internet. There's just so much stuff that we could be doing, so many things that we could be talking about, teaching people, and things of that nature. But after this last video that Teotw Ministries did, right? Let me see if I can turn this light up a little bit. I'm looking a little darker than usual. Oh, let me see. All right. So anyway, all right, there we go. It's a lot better. All right. So I saw where they were doing like some video or something, kind of to follow up the last video that I did. And if you guys haven't seen it, you guys may have to go to my channel, watch it. because I'm pretty sure you guys are probably lost. You guys don't know what the heck I'm talking about right now. But anyway, they've been purporting that Jerusalem that we read in the Bible is in Africa. I challenged that about a year ago. The subject came back up maybe about a month ago. I once again challenged them. They used a video from a guy who is a scholar, who is an expert in this field. They used his video or his lecture to purport their narrative that Jerusalem is in Africa. Long story short, I reached out to the scholar. The scholar confirmed that my position and my assessment of the maps in question were correct. And that in fact, the opposite, which is Teotw Ministries' position, is wrong. You see what I'm saying? So, and I brought that out in an email, and I'm going to read it again. Okay, I'm going to read it again today. Jermaine says, I've been watching for 20 and just now got the notification. Wow. Okay. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, now after I reached out to the scholar who actually brought out the info, who actually is the guy, once again, he's an expert in ancient maps. Okay. Once again, he confirmed my position, said that Teotw Ministries' position was incorrect. Shortly after that, Teotw Ministries, they posted this on their channel. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it. I can see it pretty good, right? And I'm just going to read it for those who may not be able to see it. This was posted 3 weeks ago, and this is right after I did my live stream. It says, he tagged me in a boo. Now, I don't know why he tagged a boo, but he ended up tagging me in a boo in this post. And I think that Abu has done a couple of videos regarding this matter and some others. But anyway, and I'm pretty sure that this was Jacoba. He said, I've noticed that these two trolls are good at giving their opinions, but do not line by line attack my position. If they comment on my position, they misrepresent it. They also prefer to ignore statements like my opinion, my theory. This is how you know for a fact that they do not care about the truth, but are aligned with attacking Israelites. Why? Because I believe because they are probably Freemasons or Catholic Jesuits. Hey, listen, I already made that clear. Yeah, I'm a Catholic. I'm a Roman Catholic Jesuit. You know what I'm saying? The Boo is the boss. He's cutting the checks. I showed y'all the house out in Phoenix, Arizona, with the vehicles, with the whips, pool. You know what I'm saying? Stacks on deck. I already laid that out. You know what I'm saying? Cat side of the bag. That's probably why he tagged the Boo. But anyway, in all seriousness, right? It says interesting that a non-Israelite is always an Israelite business. Also notice that the goal is always to attack Israel with passive aggressiveness. They will find out when these judgments fall on their heads who is correct. I'm done responding to these snakes. Spicy talking, spicy. So anyway, so again, that was after I had dropped my live stream. I did my video, basically just putting a can or putting the lid on the whole conversation about this map. I didn't even respond back. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to let it ride. That's it. So anyway, let me see if I can find this post. Because they were, because Teotw Ministries decided to do a video responding to my live stream that I did about 3 weeks ago. For what reason, I don't know. Because I'm thinking, here we go. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to show y'all the video. Go ahead and share my screen again. There we go. All right, so you can see the title. It says, Undeniable Proof That Africa is the Holy Land. Actually, I think we're going to play it from the beginning. How about that? Because, see, I don't like misrepresent people. I want people to listen to what is being said. And we're going to play maybe the first couple of minutes of this. Because, again, after I brought out my information and reached out to the scholar who already confirmed that my position was correct and that what Teotw Ministries did, they misrepresented the information that was brought out. They took it and they twisted to fit their narrative. And then once again, the scholar that they used for their source to manipulate the information confirmed that they were wrong on how they manipulated the information. I went to the source, their source that they used. That should have been the end of the conversation, unless they had actually gone back and talked to this source and had this source to confirm what I said was in fact false and that I misrepresented the information that he had given me. The guy name is Mr. Chet Van Duzer. So unless they had gone back and talked to Mr. Van Duzer himself, or they had gotten another scholar who was just as reputable or more reputable than Mr. Van Duzer, then now we got a conversation. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this. And I'm trying to get somewhere with this. So this isn't about going back and forth with information. This is about, I think that there's a deeper issue that's going on. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Let me see if this is about it right now. All right.
I'm either going to be convinced or I'm not going to be convinced. So, one thing I don't say usually, and I'm going to say it right.
Fair use. Fair use. Fair use.
Right now, I am 100% convinced that Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, is the land of Israel. I am. I'm not talking about you. I am 100% convinced. I don't say that usually. I'm 99.9% convinced that Jerusalem is in Ethiopia.
Now, check this out. Now, you heard what he just said, right? He just said that he's 99% convinced that Jerusalem is in Ethiopia. Now, a year or two ago, that wasn't the case. A year or two ago, it was in Negro land, which is West Africa, where the slave trade happened. But now it's in Ethiopia. Now it's in Ethiopia. Wasn't making an argument 2 years ago, but now you're making it today. Okay.
Why the small difference for Jerusalem over Africa? Just for the margin of error. So all of those who disagree with me, please don't send me emails. And you could do videos all you want on it. That's your channel, but please don't send me emails. I don't care if you agree or not. It's my opinion. All right. So before we get started, had a video yesterday, a show yesterday over at.
Now he says that it's just his opinion. For someone to be holding to something that is an opinion and not fact, he's really turning this into a big deal by slandering and just calling people out of their names and all that stuff. He's really taking this personal for this to just be his opinion, right? He says, "Who is the Hoppin' Hay is speaking?" It's a guy from a ministry, YouTube ministry called Teotw Ministries, the End of the World Ministries. That's what we assessing right now. All right, fair use. Like I said, we're only gonna play a few minutes of this.
DC, we had a bunch of Israelites on there we were talking about the plagues. We were talking about the plagues. And so how, what's happening. How long do we think we have before those plagues are let loose? Now, one thing, if you're going to do your little hit pieces and your shows on my position, make sure you come over here, right, to Odyssey, right? Everything is organized for you, right? All our shows, right? I went through, took the time, created playlists, right? I have all these shows organized. You want to know what I believe? Come here, right? You want to know why I believe what I believe? Just come here. It's all grouped for you, right? 400-year prophecy. Y'all don't believe that, though the world is about to burn down. And here, the real Jerusalem. So you could do your little one shows, your one offs, and all this foolishness. But I have 22 videos here, 22 videos over the few years that I've been researching where the real Jerusalem is. So my position is based over years of research. I've come to my conclusion off of biblical descriptions of what the Most High said he was going to give our fathers and us. The Holy Land, where is it? See, if you want my position, you got to come through all of these videos right here. If you want to know what I believe and why I believe what I believe, you got to come through and watch every.
No, actually, we don't. All we got to do is just hear you say something crazy, like the real Jerusalem is in Africa. I don't have to sit back and watch all of your videos. Not at all. You say something crazy like that, all we need to do is go to a source, a scholar, a person who knows what they're talking about, people who've actually spent money to go to these places. That's what we do. We don't just, real Christians. Us over here, we're a totally different breed from just folks who just sit on the internet. I'm just going to put that out there right now. A lot of us, this YouTube thing is just something secondary for us. We're not spending all of our time on the internet clicking, video through video. A lot of us don't have time. I know I don't. All I got to hear is just something wacky about the real Jerusalem is in Africa, and go and reach out to a scholar, or just do a quick search for a scholar who's actually in the land. Oh, and we're going to bring up an article too, and I want to see if Teotw Ministries are going to debunk this particular article of people actually in the land. Oh yeah, we're going to get into that. But like I said, I just want to play a few more minutes of this so you guys can kind of get the gist of what's being said. But, once again, no one has to go through all of your videos. Teotw Ministries has been known to just take information, twist it, mangle it. Even other Israelites don't really trust these guys because of how they take information and misinterpret it. So you best believe none of us over here are going to watch all of those videos. But anyway, let me stop because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let's finish watching it.
Every single one of these videos, because that is how I built my position. It's all there if you want to know why I believe what I believe. You could disagree all you want. But what I find is most people do not do the same amount of research that I have done. Now that I said that, let's get into it. Why does Jacob believe Africa is Israel? There's so much evidence. So we're going to get into this right now. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. Like I say, you don't have to agree with me, okay? Undeniable proof that Africa is the Holy Land. The evidence is overwhelming that.
Undeniable proof, right? Undeniable proof. Okay.
Africa is the promised land. Africa is the promised land. Like I said, you're going to have to look at all my videos because I built my position over years. You have to lie in order to deny. You have to be a liar.
All right.
In order to deny all of the
what
evidence.
y'all can see is that he's bringing up these maps, right? So the Haggadah map, especially this. We already touched on that in my last video addressing this. We touched on it. And actually, the guy Chet Van Duzer, who I actually emailed, where he got the lecture from one of his videos, he used him as a source. And this guy, like I said, once again, Chet Van Duzer is a scholar who actually does this for a living. I reached out to him, and everything that Teotw is purporting right now is the man already told me that basically, in a nutshell, Jacob's position is wrong. It's just off. And that's why I'm just like, it's just mind-boggling to me that this guy is still coming back and using the same old arguments from the source that he used that already confirmed that his position was off anyway. That's why I'm just like, it's just mind-boggling to me. All right, but let's continue it. YouTube is a little laggy today.
Now, one particular joker did a video about Haggadah.
That's me.
That beta male guy.
You talk about me.
Lying, twisting, manipulating, misrepresenting. Okay? But the evidence speaks for itself.
Listen good.
Forewarning, do not send Jacob any emails with your opinions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Letitia. I appreciate it. All right, so Haggadah is the answer to everything. Now, I've done a lot of research. I've made a lot of videos. I've even talked about Haggadah. But then when you put it all together, Haggadah is the end of the matter, right? Why? Because personification of Africa. The personification.
I want you guys.
I had the little baby.
I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to this part right here. Pay very close attention, right? Personification of Africa, okay? This is key. And if you look down here, where this person sits, we're talking about the personification of Africa, okay? This lady riding a crocodile. So I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to this part, because this is what the whole argument is about right here. Fair use.
Beta male tell me that don't mean it's Africa.
That's me.
Beta male said.
That's me.
Oh, you're lying. But if anybody watched the video and if anybody did any research, they would find the Mercator map. The Mercator map is an atlas, a Mercator atlas, that is, right? The Mercator atlas shows you what the personification that we saw on the Haggadah map represents. What do we see here? Africa.
Pay close attention. Pay close attention.
But the beta male says that
it's
not Africa. Somebody working for some agents or working for the Vatican or something, or he just a straight up liar. But I wouldn't want to be.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, you see the insults and the slander, and I love when he does this because it shows the lack of intelligence that's on his end. Now, once again, he's not bringing out any scholar. He hasn't done a live stream with a scholar. He's not pulling up any emails from any scholars that he's reached out to confirm his position. I did. I pulled up, or I reached out to the scholar that he used or referenced in his videos. the stuff that's being talked about now, the scholar that he referenced that was talking about these things during the lecture, I reached out to that person, and that person confirmed that Teotw Ministries is off. All right? But that's why we got to let it play.
These days, right? Why? Because this world is burning down around your ankles. Europe ain't gonna have no water. Europe ain't gonna have no gas. And just think what's gonna happen to America. I'm just saying, y'all gotta stop the lying, you Christians over there. Y'all lie too much. So here, obviously, we see the personification represents Africa, right? So similar image of the Holy Land from the David Rumsey Map Center. All right, see this map here? This is from the David Rumsey Map Center. It says the kingdom of the Jews divided into the sons of Herod the Great by the tetrarchy at the time of Christ the Lord. Who is the creator? The creator is Johnson. His name is Johnson. And this represents the tribes of Reuben, Gad, the eastern parts of the tribes of Benjamin, Ephraim, Demi, Manasseh within Jordan, the western parts of the tribes of Ephraim, Benjamin, and half of Manasseh within Jordan, and the northern parts of Dan and Judah, the tribes of Asher, the western part of the tribes of Zebulun and Issachar, half the tribe of Manasseh beyond the Jordan, and the tribe of Naphtali, and the eastern parts of the tribes of Zebulun and Issachar, the greatest part of the tribe of Evida towards the east, the tribe of Simeon, and the southern part of the tribe of Dan, and the eastern parts of the tribe of Evida. Now, that's a lot of people and a lot of tribes. But the obvious thing here is that this map, at least this image of it, looks similar to the Haggadah map, right? Yes or no, family? Does it look similar? Yes or no? Does it look similar to the Haggadah map?
He's going based off of looks. He's taking, and what he did this in one of his videos, he took the artist's rendition of a modern map and compared it to an ancient map that was written over 500 years ago. That's his evidence that Jerusalem is in Africa. And it's not even the coastline of where Ethiopia sits. He's talking about way on the western coast of Africa where the slave trade route is. That's why he believes that that part is, it's a bowl of confusion. I'm not even finna get into that. But I'm almost done with this. I'm gonna play like a couple of more minutes of these and we're gonna get into it.
I'm just saying. But the Haggadah map tells us where this location is. It is Africa. Okay? So the question once again, if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. Now, some people are going to say, well, you know, you're stretching it, you're cool, but you're stretching it. That is the Middle East over there, taken from a different angle. They say on the map, they say it's Palestine, stuff like that. Let me tell you something about these people. Have y'all ever looked at some of the modern Bibles? And it's not just the modern Bibles, it's even the KJV. But you ever read it and they would say things like, they went into the Negev desert. You ever read that, family? Yes or no? Have you read the Bible, the modern Bibles, where they tell you that the desert or the wilderness that they went into was the Negev? They made that up. It doesn't say that. When you stay to the text, it tells you that they went into the wilderness or they went into the desert, and there's a specific word. It doesn't say Negev. Well, they do the same thing with some of these maps as well. So if you go and look at this map, now they'll say Palestine. See Palestine right there? My contention is, just like they did with the Negev, is what they're doing here, or the real Palestine is in Africa.
All right, now I want you guys to pay attention to that. Pay attention to what's going on here. He's looking at a map, an ancient map, that's clearly saying that the coast is Palestine. It's clearly saying Palestine. But he's saying that, well, I know it says Palestine, but I still think that this is the coastline of Africa, on western coast of Africa. Let me bring it back up. It's clear that the map clearly says Palestine right here. It clearly says that. And he's still in denial because he wants this to be Africa so bad. That's the part that's really mind-boggling to me.
I'm gonna make my case. You know that. You ain't gotta agree. Now, this is a map, and it represents Africa. You can see right here, the Africa Tabula 12. Now, what you see up here is Evadorum Terra. It means land of the Jews, right? So the artist is Teotw. The Vio Teotw.
Now, this is where the argument is. Now, you guys see this part right here on the west coast of Africa. He's trying to say that coastline that we saw from the ancient map that says Palestine, he's trying to say that since this part right here looks similar to that ancient map that we saw in Palestine, that this part over here is what is in reference to the ancient map. So although the ancient map is saying that what we're looking at is Palestine, he's saying that that's Africa. Forget that it says Palestine on an ancient map. Don't care what the map says, that where that landmass is. Since it looks like the western part of Africa over here, then he's convinced in his mind, not by any scholar, not confirmed by anybody else, not confirmed by no one who actually does this for a living, convinced by his own mind. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop that because I just wanted you guys to kind of get the gist of the conversation of what's happening. Okay? Now, remember he kept talking about the personification of Africa and he kept harping on that. So let me go ahead and bring out this email that I sent to Mr. Chet Van Duzer. Okay? Mr. Chet Van Duzer is a guy that is he's a scholar in this. And actually, again, when Teotw Ministries did a video, they used a lecture from his video to push their narrative. Okay? They used the guy who I reached out to in this email. They used his video from a lecture that he did to push their narrative because he kept talking about the personification of Africa. All right? So, let me go ahead and read to you guys the email that I sent to him. I said, "Greetings, Mr. Van Duzer. My name is Alton Johnson, and I was having a discussion with someone about the 1965 Amsterdam Haggadah map and the image of the woman in the bottom right corner of the map, right? The Haggadah map, that's what he was talking about. The 1695 map. I said, my argument is that the image represents where Africa is in proximity of Israel, so the merchants or travelers would have an idea as of their location. However, the other person believes what's his name? Jacoba from Teotw Ministries. He believes that the image represents the entirety of the map and that the landmass we see is in fact Africa, not Israel, because the woman represents Africa. Can you confirm if I'm mistaken that the landmass is Africa and the woman represents the entirety of the map, or does the woman only represent the location of Africa and proximity of the landmass, which is Israel?" That's what I sent him. I sent him that, right? He says, when you do a zoom in at zoom, he said you can see a man getting thrown off the boat, swallowed by a monster. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's another thing I haven't, I haven't really like blown up the map and really examined it too much. But yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. I may look for that. All right. Now that's what I sent Mr. Van Duzer. Here's the picture that I sent. Let me see if I can blow this up. Okay, so you see this image right here. This is the woman that he's talking about. Now this is the map that was in question. Earlier when I was playing his video, this was in color, but it's actually the same map. All right. So this is the same map, and that image that I have that's circled right here at the bottom is this image right here. Okay. This image, that's why he kept talking about the personification of Africa. This image personifies Africa. He says since this image is down here at the bottom right corner, this entire map, which we saw was labeled Palestine, that he don't want to accept. He don't want to accept that this is Palestine. He says that, well, he think that that's a conspiracy. Somebody put Palestine on there to try to trick you when it's in fact not Palestine. So folks back in the 1600s wanted to purport that this was Palestine, but they were actually talking about Africa. That's his position. He's purporting that this image, which personifies Africa, is the entirety of this map. That's why I reached out to Mr. Van Duzer to say, does this image down here in the bottom right corner, does it represent the entirety of the map as being Africa? Or does this image represent where Africa is, like we see up here in this top right corner, where you see where you have Israel here, and then at the bottom right, you have the image of the woman. And just like you will have on this ancient map, you have Israel here, and at the bottom right, you will have Africa showing whatever the traveler is, like if it's a merchant or somebody who's ever traveling by boat, when they look at the map, they'll know exactly where Africa is. Okay? That's what I was asking him. Is this map, in fact, Africa because of the personification, or is it just a place marker of where Africa sits in relation to Israel? Now, again, this is Mr. Van Duzer himself. He responded back to me. Okay? He responded back to me. He says, thanks for your message. The land at the top of the map is definitely Israel. Definitely Israel. And I see Richard D talks about the compass. And yeah, you guys, if you, I think Abu did a video on that. So if you guys want, you guys can go and check out Abu's video. He did a excellent breakdown of the details on the map. I wasn't able to get into all of that, and I'm not going to get into all of that here because, for the sake of time. But yeah, Abu did a great assessment, you know what I'm saying, by detailing the map. All right, here we go. Mr. Chet Van Duzer said, and again, this is a scholar. This ain't just some random guy on the internet like Teotw Ministries. This is a scholar. And the man does this for a living. He reviews and he does lectures on ancient maps because that's his job. He's been doing it for years. He says the map is definitely Israel. Now remember, they just said, Jacoba just said that when we saw that name Palestine on there, that's, well, we have to question that because he thinks that that's Africa. He says, and you are correct. He's telling me that I'm correct. The woman at the lower right represents Africa. In fact, she is a personification of Africa. Like, remember, that's what Jacob was talking about. She is, in fact, a personification of Africa. Her iconography is typical of that personifies of Africa. The woman, in fact, is located in North Africa. You can see this in the delta of the Nile just above her. Also note the compass rose in the lower part of the map at the right of the bulls. The fleur de lis indicates the direction of the north, which is to the lower left. The personification of Africa helps the viewer understand the identification of the land at the lower right of the map. It's not an indication of the whole map. It's not. It's not that the personification of Africa, that little image, does not speak for the whole map. That's what. Let me pull this back up. This is what Jacob is trying to purport. He's trying to purport that this down here, this red circle that I got at the bottom, which is this image right here, represents the whole map. So since this is the personification of Africa, the whole map is Africa. The man just said that it wasn't. The man said that it wasn't. Again, he said that it's just a placeholder for where the map sits. Or, I mean, where Africa sits on the map. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I did this video, I did this live stream about 3 weeks ago. I pointed that out. To me, case closed. I was like, case closed. There's really no reason for them to even respond. Right? There's really no reason for them to even respond. So that's why when they posted on their community tab that, well, we're not going to be responding to Alton and Naboo no more because they're snakes and they work for the Jesuits or Freemasons or whatever. I said, okay, cool. Case closed. It's done. Right? It's done. There's no reason for us to even have this conversation anymore. I brought out the point. I reached out to the scholar. The scholar confirmed exactly what I said. And he just totally, basically just said in a nutshell that their position is wrong. Okay? Said that their position is wrong. That's why I found it mind-boggling that Jacoba would do another video on this subject. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe he's doing this video because maybe he's brought out some new information. I'm always optimistic. I love information. Maybe Jacoba brought out, maybe he talked to another scholar. Maybe he talked to Mr. Chet Van Duzer himself, right? Because Jacoba's supposed to be an alpha male. He's an alpha male researcher. So, of course, logically, you'll want to go to the source. You want to go to the source of the information that you're bringing out to confirm your position. So this dude turns around and does another hour and something long video based on what he thinks is happening and the information that he's bringing out. So he's just going on Google searches and Frankensteining all of this information together to purport his particular view on this, his false view on this. Instead of actually looking at the information and accepting it for what it is, or even trying to get clarity on the information that he's bringing out, he turns around and he just basically does the same thing that he did 2 years ago. That's why even a lot of these folks who have studied and followed these guys, other Israelites, even other Israelites are just like, yo, these guys are insane. Well, respect to Teotw, his brother, because apparently him and his brother are twins, but Jacoba does most of the talking. I don't really hear too much from Teotw. But Teotw does, he does support his brother and he backs him up. But Jacoba is one of those folks that when you bring out information, correct information, he doesn't care. He gets mad at you. He want to cuss, threaten you. He did that to the Orthodox Moor. Or him and Orthodox Moor was talking about some DNA stuff, and the information, the video started out cordial. It didn't start out as a debate. It started out cordial. Teotw Ministries brought out something that was inaccurate. Orthodox Moor was asking them a question to get clarity, and Jacoba just went out, started cussing, calling them names. That's how that beef started. Did the same thing with the Genesis 49er dudes. I remember I was watching some video where one lady said that she wanted to ask Jacoba a question, or I guess she sent him an email or something, trying to get clarity on something that he said, and he cursed her out. But this is supposed to be a man that's supposed to be called by God. He says that he has heard the voice of the Lord tell him that Jerusalem is in Africa. Now, here's the thing. I don't doubt that Jacoba heard something, but I highly doubt it was the voice of the Lord. I highly doubt it was the voice of the Lord. I believe with Jacoba, there's something going on with him mentally. And I'm not saying that as an insult, but I'm saying that out of concern. Not just for him, but people who actually follow him. I really think that there are people. He said post a join link. Not at the moment. I might not be on here too long. I only got a couple of things that I want to bring out on this live stream. This isn't going to be a panel discussion. I might do one like Tuesday or something like that. But you know, for the sake of time, I'm gonna try to do this and try to get up out of here. But yeah, I really think that there's something going on with him mentally. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Lily T says he sounds a little touched. Yeah, and you know, and I hate to. I'm one of those people that I don't want to just prejudge someone based on how they sound, right? You know, because certain people have different accents, and you know, sometimes you can be like, that dude sounded a little slow. I done ran into people who have, you know, some really long southern draws, and I'm just like, you know, this dude sounded a little slow, but some of these people are brilliant. That's just the way they talk. But when you listen to the information that's being brought out, right? When you listen to certain information that's being brought out, and you're listening to what these guys are saying, and then you're actually researching, not even doing an extensive research into what they're saying, you're just looking at the information that they're bringing out, and you're saying, okay, when I compare that to what scholars have said, people who do this for a living, it doesn't add up. When you bring that out, they want to call you names. Beta male and all of this. So how can a person be a beta male and you be an alpha when, number one, you don't like truth? Number two, when somebody corrects you in your false ideologies and your false teachings, the first thing you do is get mad and upset. Your blood pressure goes sky high. What man do you know? What alpha male do you know that, number one, doesn't like correction? Even the Bible says that a fool despises correction. And you're supposed to be a minister, but you despise correction? You're a cult leader. That's what that is. Teotw Ministries is a cult. Jacob is a cult leader. And like I said, I believe that there's something going on with him mentally, not as an insult, but he's one of the last people that need to be on the internet. Straight up. Because, I mean, the way that he moves and the way that he acts, it's just, no one would sit back, see the information in their face, right? You see the information in your face, but you totally dismiss it because you want to push a narrative. He's not only done this with the map, but he's done this with he's not only done this with the map, but he's done it with the DNA thing. That's why other Israelites are just like, yo, what's something going on with these guys? Because they do that all the time. Oh, Shaperin says partnership join link. Sorry. Oh, it should be. Let me see. Yeah, it's right there at the bottom. At the bottom of the live stream. It's right there at the bottom of the live stream. So all you got to do is click that, and you know you can join. Honestly, says too many alpha doesn't have anything to do with godliness. It's more about dominance and the illusion of power. Yeah, correct. Correct. But that's why I'm just like, it's something else going on. It's something else going on. And this is why in this particular climate, we really have to be careful about who we're getting our information from. As Christians, if we claim that we follow the Most High God, then we have to watch who we're linking arms with, who are also claiming that they are being called by the Most High God. Because his attitude, he don't show any fruit of the Spirit. None. He shows no fruit of the Spirit. He's talking about that the Lord told him that the real Jerusalem is in Africa. And then when you try to correct him on stuff, he gets upset. Fools despise correction. He says he don't see he might need a laptop. I don't know if you can do it from your cell phone or what, but yeah, it is a join button there. I don't know. I'll try to see if I can take a look at that later. All right. He says, I will say Teotw does have some interesting commentary and good studies on end times things. They do all right. They do some all right documentaries. Yeah, but the thing is that they may bring out certain things that may be going on in the world, certain articles that, mainstream media may not be covering. But what is the motive behind them covering that or putting that out? You see? So are you utilizing the information correctly? And I know that right now a lot of people, are really hooked on the end times. I used to be into the whole end times prophecy stuff. You know what I'm saying? But what happened to me was that I ended up looking so far off into conspiracy theories and end time prophecies that my focus wasn't even on the Lord and his word. I wasn't even focused on, I was totally, illiterate in the Bible. But I can tell you about CERN. I can tell you about what's happening over here with China. That's why I had to turn around and that's why I had to turn around myself and get into the word. She says, why would the Lord tell him that? Now we can't trust the map. Correct. Romans EJ, what's going on? All right, so listen. I got an article that I'm going to pull up, and I want to see, just based on looking at this information by this article, we're going to be able to make the decision, or I want you guys to be the judge on if you believe that Jerusalem over there in the Levant region is actually fake, but the real Jerusalem is actually in Africa as we watch this, as we read this article. And since we're at it, we might as well go ahead and just use this as one of our segments for Christian news. All right, so check this out. It's an article that I stumbled across yesterday, and I always go to either the Christian Post or ChristianHeadlines.com. They've been having some very interesting articles on their website. So I decided that I was kind of reading through this yesterday. I didn't finish reading it because I thought that this would be a good segment to kind of segue into with this topic of conversation. Jermaine Howell says, to be fair, many of us consider Israel to be in Northeast Africa. Well, that's not what scholars and archaeologists claim. You know what I'm saying? People talk about some tectonic plates and all of that. No, let's go by the borders and the land masses. Let's actually go by what has always been understood. So you can't just make a place Africa because it borders a certain piece of land and you want to say, well, since it sits on that tectonic plate, that's actually Africa. Those people don't consider that place Africa. They don't. So we can't just come, 2,000 years later, 2,000 plus years later, and just start changing up maps and just start saying that, well, based on my understanding, I believe that this is Africa too. So technically, no, that's not the argument. The argument is that Teotw Ministries is saying that the maps that's in question, that is actually showing the west coast of Africa, not the Levant region. Teotw Ministries themselves came out and says that they purport that the Levant region, the Jerusalem that we see over there, they purport that the Romans came in and tricked everybody into believing that that's the real Jerusalem because they know that the real Jerusalem is in Africa somewhere. Despite all of the people who have been living in Africa, in the region where they say that Jerusalem is, they tricked all of those people living there and made them believe that that's not Africa, while simultaneously tricking the people who lived in that region, making them think that that is actually Jerusalem when it never was before. You really have to do a lot of stretching. And that's why, Jermaine, I love you, brother, but that's why you have to start being honest. Just because these guys claiming Israel, you got to start being honest and start saying, man, I think that's off. Do you actually believe that the Romans came and switched Africa to that Jerusalem was in Africa, but the Romans came and switched it to the Levant region? Do you actually believe that? Type yes or no. Because you got to start being honest. What you're saying is a non sequitur. That's a non sequitur. Now, one thing that people get upset with us, no, I haven't talked about the maps yet. I ain't talked about the maps yet. That's coming next. All right, but yeah, so my thing is that you just got to start being honest. And that's one of the beefs that people got with us as Christians, is that we'll actually address falsehoods within our own community because we want to keep the camp clean. This is what the Bible has always taught us. This is what the Lord has taught the ancient Israelites as they were getting ready to go into the land. And after they got into the land, you keep the camp clean. That's why when they went into the land, they had to drive out all of these other people who were defiling the land. The Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Hittites, the Shivites, all of those people. They had to drive them out because they had to keep the land clean. Thank you, Romans EJ. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Here you go. Look at that. Egypt is in Africa, brother. Israel is land locked with Egypt. It doesn't matter. There's a border there, Jermaine. There's a border that is separating Egypt from Israel. You can't have an Egyptian passport or an Egyptian ID and then just walk over into Israel and say, well, hey, it's all part of Africa anyway. This is our land. What do you think the problem is with Palestine, the West Bank, the Gaza Strip? With the people of Israel, there's borders there. There are borders. When you look at Palestine, you got the West Bank and then you got the Gaza Strip, all inside Israel. But they don't consider that to be Israel. Those are different lands because of the borders. Those are different people. They have different cultures. So let's stop being intellectually dishonest. We got to stop doing that. But anyway, before I get thrown off, remember the argument. Jerusalem is in Africa. Okay? The Jerusalem that we know of, that's over there in the Levant region, that's fake. According to Teotw Ministries, Emperor Hadrian and the Romans made or tricked everybody into thinking that the Jerusalem over there in the Levant region is fake. That's what they're saying. Let's read what this article says. Weapons used by Roman soldiers in destruction of Second Temple discovered in Jerusalem. Where? In Jerusalem. Not Africa. Right? So you can see they got pictures, they got artifacts and stuff right here. All right. Antiquity experts in Israel say that they have found archaeological evidence of the destruction of the Second Temple as prophesied by Jesus in the New Testament. The Israel Antiquities Authority, IAA, which is the governmental authority responsible for excavation and conservation in the Holy Land, they calling that place the Holy Land, announced the discovery of the stones believed to have been used as projectiles to bring down the walls of Jerusalem during the siege in 70 AD. Again, what's the argument? The argument is that this place in the Levant region is not Africa. That's the argument. But these people are over there in the Levant region finding these artifacts, but ironically, they haven't found any of this stuff in any parts of Africa. But let's continue to read. Based on findings from a 2,000-year-old battleground uncovered in the Russian compound of one of the oldest cities, the city's oldest districts, IAA archaeologist Kavir Arbiv used computerized ballistic calculations to recreate the ancient battle. Quote, with the help of the computer, I recorded the location spot of all of the ballista and taking into account the local topography and the location of the Second Temple period city fortification walls. I made ballistic calculations, including the launching angle and throwing distance of the stones, Abiv said in a post on Facebook where IAA shared images of the dig, including the arrowhead and ballista ball. So far, the dig has uncovered hundreds of ballista stones of various sizes that were launched from what Arbiv described as, quote, sophisticated bolt-throwing machines, end quote, from the distances as far as more than 400 yards. Smaller stones used by infantry and catapult machines were also among Roman arsenal exposed to date, according to Arbiv. Spears, swords, and arrowheads, some heavy enough to pierce armor, were also retrieved in the excavations. They couldn't have found that over there. Because remember, that's fake. The Romans tricked people into thinking that that was actually where the Second Temple was. That it wasn't there. That it was in Africa. But somehow they're in. So I guess according to Teotw Ministries' logic, since the Romans really wanted to hide this evidence that the real Jerusalem is in Africa, they went to the Levant region and they threw all of these balls and spears and all of that stuff to kind of create this conspiracy to kind of throw people off, to throw us off 2,000 years later, that that's the real Jerusalem when it's in fact in Africa. But, you know, I don't know. That's the logic that we're dealing with right now. All right. Okay, the stones are believed to have been used in the violent 4-month siege that led to the temple's destruction and the eventual fall of Jerusalem. The Second Temple period spanned from 516 BC to AD 70, when in a historic battle, the Roman army led by General Titus captured the holy city and destroyed the temple following a 4-month effort to suppress a revolt by the Jewish people that had begun 4 years earlier. Jesus foretold the destruction of the Second Temple in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Plumber, where you at? Where you at, Plumber? That Jewish revolt. I know you talk about the Jewish revolt a lot. The scriptures record a conversation as Jesus was leaving the temple when his disciples, quote, came up to him to call his attention to its buildings, end quote. Jesus' response in Matthew 24:2 reads in the NIV, quote, do you see all these things? Truly I tell you, not one stone here will be left on another. Everyone will be thrown down. Okay, now hold on a second. Now I know a lot of people, when they read that, they say that this is a future event. But these people over here are saying that this was something that happened in 70 AD. But I'll let y'all argue over that. I'm not going to get into any eschatological, debates. Not today. Okay. Eli Escocido, director of IAA, said that the stones and other physical evidence that were used by the Roman army, quote, reflect the extremely harsh battles that eventually led to the destruction of the Second Temple. Notwithstanding the internal factions and the impossible odds, a small group of Jewish defenders withheld the Romans for a few months until the tragic destruction of the city, end quote, Escocido said Escocido. The findings were released to coincide with the fast of the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av, I guess, which commemorates the day of the destruction of the Second Temple. Plumber, go ahead and Plumber, I need you to pronounce that for me. What is that? The fast of the 9th of Av. In addition to earlier findings of arrowheads and stone ballista balls on the main street that led to the temple, other artifacts from the Second Temple period have also been removed in recent years, including a 2,000-year-old Jewish ritual bath and a road running from the city's gates and the pool of Siloam to the temple where Jesus believed to have walked. All right, so that is the end of that article. So again, if these people are finding these things over there in that region of the world, then what makes anyone think that the real Jerusalem is in fact in Africa? That these folks, let me see. I think I missed my, I had a, oh, here it is right here. All right, I'm pull that up. Yeah, so what makes anyone think that what's going on or what happened in the Levant region is all fake, right? Like all of this stuff is just fake. It's because Emperor Hadrian came 2,000 years ago and just tricked everybody into thinking that the real Jerusalem is not in Africa, but it's actually in the Levant region, while making those people believe that they're in a fake Jerusalem and it's down in Africa. I mean, it's just silly. It's just silly stuff. All right, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and switch gears right now. And this is what honestly was speaking about. Now, let me go ahead and before we get into this video, I've done maybe about 3 or 4 videos on this topic. What we're about to see is pure. You thought this whole Teotw Ministries thing is foolishness. This, what I'm about to play for you, is straight madness. If you have kids, I want you guys to be very aware. This is going to open you guys' eyes into how you should be monitoring your kids, of who you think that they should be around, and as a parent, you're just gonna really have to monitor who's around your children. Because I remember when this was maybe about a few years ago, right? I did quite a few videos concerning this topic. I think this was maybe about 3 years ago. The LGBTQ was trying to add an extra acronym. They wanted to be LGBTQP. P, and this video is about to get demonetized right now. I can't even demonetize. I can't even get no monetization off of this one. But the P was standing for a pedophile. LGBTQP, P was going to stand for pedophile. But there was a lot of pushback from the LGBTQ community, but there were some people who was kind of on board with it. Some LGBTQ members said that they didn't even want to be associated with that. They didn't want to be associated with pedophiles and people who want to have a relationship with kids, right? So to be fair, anybody, when you do talk to people who are a part of the LGBTQ community, a lot of them do not rock with this. This is something different. This is something totally different. They don't rock with the whole, pedophile, minor attracted persons, which is the acronym for MAPS, M-A-P-S, minor attracted persons, which this lady is going to bring out in this particular video that I'm going to show. But one thing that was brought out, and I was watching a sermon by Voddie Baucham, and he kind of, not only just him, but it was John MacArthur, and they were kind of, they kind of brought something to light. And one thing that Voddie Baucham said was, I want to think, what was it, back in 2012 or 2013 or 14 or one of that, when, honestly, go ahead and help me out. Let me know, when was the whole gay marriage rights thing passed? Let me know when that was passed. But anyway, around that time, I want to say maybe around 2012 between 2012 and 2014 anyway, one thing that Vodi Bakum brought out was that it went from being about gay rights and gay marriage. And then as soon as that happened, the whole transgender thing came like right behind it. Now the fight was people can be, first it was people need to be able to love who they want to love. And then it became people need to be who they are. If a man feels like he's a woman, we need to go ahead and just recognize that person as a woman, right? If a woman wants to be a man, then, we need to recognize that person as a man. The whole Bruce Jenner thing came out. He got Woman of the Year after transitioning just 6 months. Women who have been women all their lives, and they have been putting in great work in this country all of this time, lost to a man who had only been a woman or transitioned to a woman for 6 months. That's when I knew that this world, we're done. We're finished. I was feeling that then. When I saw this, we're super done now. We are super done. So now we know that the whole trans thing is now becoming like this big, what do you call it? This big argument, right? The fight is about, treating trans people as equals, not misgendering or mispronouncing someone's gender or something like that. That's the biggest fight that's going on now. But before we can even put that argument to the side, now they're pushing it for kids. Now they're saying that you need to accept these kids whenever they say that they are of a different gender. And I think in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, if your son or your daughter says they want to be the opposite gender and you don't start to get them on puberty blockers and start to help them along with that transition process, then your kids can be taken from you. I can't remember if it's the UK or if it's in Canada, but it's one of these places where I think it's in Canada, to be honest. So anyway, stumbled across this video a couple of days ago. And once again, if you guys got children, I think this is the time that you guys need to be pretty much involved with your kids in their lives, because these are the type of people that are out here right now.
Folks, my name is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to...
Sex therapist. I want you guys to catch that. Sex therapist. Sound like some Decepticon work going on. Some Decepticon work going on. This lady is a sex therapist, but she's promoting pedophilia.
Talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture. And
vilified. Pedophiles are the most vilified people in our culture. Right? For good reason. We're talking about people who hurt kids. That's the reason why they're the most vilified. But remember, these were the same arguments that they were using for the LGBTQ community. Same arguments that they were using for the trans community, that they're still using for the trans community. Remember, trans people, about a year or two ago, were the most vilified people and were the most persecuted people in the world. Now it's the pedophiles. I want you guys to just really pay attention to that. Oh, hold on. Hey, you guys let me know if you can hear that. Type of 1. Type of 1 if you can hear it, type of 2 if you can't. Because JT Max saying that there's no sound.
And most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
Marginalized population. Man, you cannot make this stuff up.
may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons, sometimes abbreviated to MAPS, instead of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people in order to harm them or slander them. I also prefer person-first language that...
Fair use, fair use. You can already see where she's going with this. Right off the deep end.
Recognizes that any label we might apply to a person is only part of who they are and doesn't represent everything that they are. We are all people first with many different facets or parts of ourselves, and this includes folks who are attracted to minors. So to start with, let's talk about what a minor attracted person is or who they are. This term simply means that the person has an enduring sexual or romantic attraction to minors. They've not chosen this attraction, just as the rest of us have not chosen whatever our attraction is. You don't get to choose to be heterosexual or to be gay or whatever you are, and you don't get to choose to be a minor attracted person. Some minor attracted persons are attracted to a specific age range of minors, while some are not. And some minor attracted persons are exclusively attracted to minors and are not attracted to adults at all. Some minor attracted persons are also attracted to adults.
Man, listen. Listen. This is the world that we're living in. This is it. That's why right now, and I'm going to prophesy to y'all right now. I'm going to get a little Pentecostal on y'all. See, I did videos about this. Let me see if I can bring those up. Let me go back. Let me see if I can search on my particular channel. But yeah, I've been talking about this. Let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to show you guys some of these topics that I've covered. She said it's way worse. You said you should do another show and drop the link. I will send some more videos that will make your head explode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will. But these are some of the videos that I've covered, right? 9 months ago, I did one where I read an article. It was one of my Christian news segments where you had a school down in South Florida. They took their kids to a gay bar, right, during the day. A gay bar, a place where people hook up at. Place where adult people who drink alcohol and possibly do drugs, they took them there for a field trip. Here's another one that I did about 2 weeks ago, right? About the effects of puberty blockers or the negative effects for puberty blockers in children. And the puberty blockers are there to help the kids, quote unquote, transition. Well, actually, that's what we're doing now. Let me see. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Right here. I did this 4 years ago because I knew that and back then I said in that particular video, that they're going to start fighting for pedophiles. I said the next fight after this transgender thing, the next fight is going to be for pedophiles. I said that 4 years ago, and look where we are. Look where we are. We are here right now. Didn't even take long. That one particular video, I said it then and already. Here's another one that I did. I did this 4 years ago. Normalizing pedophilia. The new battle concerning the church. We talked about that, right? Now, in this particular video, right here with the LGBTQP, I told a story of how I worked at this company. It was an HVAC company. I'm not going to give the name of it. But it was actually the first HVAC company that I worked at. And it was a family-owned company. It was a man who owned the company and his two sons, right? One of the sons was a pretty straightforward, he was a square dealing guy, you know what I'm saying? Was married. I think he had like a newborn at the time. He was, pretty decent guy. But the other guy was just straight trash. He was kind of like the rebel of the family. Did drugs while he was at work. He was just there because his father owned the company. So anyway, I had to be about 20 at the time. About 19, 20. I had to be about 20. Now, just about I think maybe like twice a year, he would go to Costa Rica or the Dominican Republic. So he either went to Costa Rica or the Dominican Republic, and he was always inviting somebody to come, to come with him because he didn't want to go alone. And I believe because he didn't have any friends or people just didn't really like him because, he could be a jerk. You know what I'm saying? He was one of those guys to where like he was kind of a jerk. So it was only but so many times that you would probably want to hang out with this guy. So anyway, he had already taken a few of the guys who worked at the company, a couple of the technicians over to Costa Rica or the Dominican Republic, and they just never went back. So one day, I'm getting ready to go on my job. I'm getting my equipment and stuff, and he walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey, Alton, you want to go? You want to go to Costa Rica?" He wanted me to go to Costa Rica with him. Now at the time, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm this little young guy. I ain't really making much money. I'm like, man, I ain't got enough money to be going over there and hanging out like that. I don't really make as much money as you. Your father's the owner of the company, so I'm pretty sure you're making over $100,000 a year. I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, well, don't worry about it. I'll pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? You could just come on over. We'll hang out, whatever. So at first I was like, man, I don't know, because I thought it was kind of weird. I'm just like, okay, we don't really talk like that. I don't really know you like that. Are you inviting me to go out of the country with you? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, man, I was, to me, it just seemed kind of weird. But at the time I was like, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe I could try to get some other people to come with us, make it a guy's trip or something like that. But I wasn't really interested. So anyway, he was just like, well, you just think about it. Let me know. Right. I'm like, all right, cool. So as soon as he walks away, another guy who used to work for the company, who worked at the company as well, he pulls me to the side and he was just like, you don't want to go on any trip with that guy, out of country. He said, because he's a straight pig. What he does is that he likes to go to these countries and pick up these little young girls who are like prostitutes, 11, 12-year-old girls, and just like have sex with them the whole time while he's over there. He said that's all he does. Because a couple of guys had actually gone with him, and this guy was just telling me, he said, you don't even want to be a part of that. He said that guy's a pig. He said that's why no one else would want to go back with this guy, because that's just what he does. He is just, he's just nasty. He's just a creep. So when I found that out, I said, okay, well, yeah, I'm definitely not engaging in any of that. I'm not going with this dude. So I said that in that one video that I did about 4 years ago. I brought that story out because now that we're starting to get into this climate of now people are trying to push for pedophilia. And I believe that this is something that is going to be the norm in our country. Unless God, by his sovereignty, stops it before it gets to that point, I believe that this is going to be the norm in our society. And I'm going to tell you why. And I told you that story because we got a guy who was the son of a person who owned an HVAC company. And this is what he was doing in other countries. I've heard stories of politicians, celebrities. I've seen pictures of people, rich people, going to other countries to engage in sexual acts with kids way younger than this. I watched a documentary, and I think these people were in Thailand, and there was a lady, she was selling her daughter, basically prostituting her daughter to rich foreigners so they can have something to eat. And the girl, she hated her mother for that. She actually ran away from her house, and I think that they ended up bringing her back a couple of times. And she ended up, I think she had a younger sister. So she went back to her mother's house and started living with her. Just a really sad story. She went back to start living with her mother after she had ran away for some time because she had a younger sister that was coming up, and she didn't want to see any of her other sisters get prostituted out to these other foreign men because she knew that her mother was going to do it. So what she did was that she went back to her mother's house and let her mother continue to prostitute her out, so therefore she could protect her younger siblings. That's why a lot of people be talking about, when you get people like Teotw Ministries and they want to talk about, this country is going to burn, wicked America. You have no idea some of the wickedness that is going on in other parts of the world. You want to talk about we the people and white people going to pay for the slavery. Man, you got some stuff going on over there, just like that story I just told you with this girl allowing herself to be prostituted out so her younger siblings won't be prostituted. These are the type of things that are going on in other countries across the world. You don't think that some of these lawmakers and legislators who go over here and take vacations to where they do this stuff, you don't think that when those bills come across their desk that they're going to sign away and say, nah, we can't have that? You know, some of these guys who's already engaging in those acts in other countries are going to be on board. And from what I've heard, people who have actually met a lot of these politicians, some of these guys can't wait for this bill to reach their desk. Because that's what they want to engage in. They want to make it legal. But of course, they have to slowly, it's like the frog in hot water. See, they have to slowly turn the heat up. And this is how they've used the LGBTQ community to do this. This is how they use the black community to do this. This is how they use abortion to support this. Why? Because you get a young girl pregnant, what do? You run her down to the abortion clinic. Make her have an abortion. Because if she's pregnant for 9 months, that's money being lost. So that's why when y'all be thinking about, this whole abortion thing, it's just about trying to restrict women's rights. No, it's not. That's just a cover. All of the sex trafficking going on, I'm here in Atlanta, and they say that Atlanta is one of the main hubs because I think we have one of the largest airports in America, if not the largest airport in America. You can fly to just about anywhere from Atlanta. Like when I go to Northwest Arkansas, we got a direct flight that goes from Atlanta to Northwest Arkansas. The only other cities that go to Northwest Arkansas is I think Minnesota and New York. But you can get anywhere in the world through Atlanta. And sex trafficking is huge in this country. And it's huge here in Atlanta, especially. So when these young girls are being trafficked and they're getting pregnant, And then they're trying to make it to where kind of like having this don't ask, don't tell mentality at these abortion clinics. You come bringing a 12, 13-year-old girl up in there and she's pregnant. It could be a white man bringing a black girl there. They can't ask no questions. They just need to perform the abortion and keep it moving. That's why when it comes to the subject of abortion, that's why I take a firm stance on it. That's why I'm not willing to bend. I don't want to hear what these white liberals got to say about restricting a woman's right. I don't care about what some of these black pastors that they don't propped up and they don't put in the front to kind of say that, oh, well, we need this in our community. Y'all don't know how wicked this world is. The devil will stop at nothing to destroy mankind, and he'll use our own ignorance to do that. He'll do that. He said, Alton, great and alarming concept, bro. Yeah. No, but seriously, it is. I'm going to tell y'all a story. I was, this had to be maybe about 2 months ago. I'm at the airport. I'm getting ready to check in. There's this heavyset white lady, right? And she has this little black girl. This little black girl had to be no more than 11 or 12 at the most. She's at the airport trying to get a ticket. I'm checking in my bag because I'm outside with the curbside. And I'm checking in with the guy. This lady walks up trying to get a ticket. She's like in a rush. She's just like, I really need to get her a ticket to fly her out of here. In my mind, I'm like, okay, we got a heavyset white lady with this little young black girl. And the little black girl, she didn't have there was no bags. She was just wrapped up in a blanket. And she was trying to hurry up and get this girl to wherever. And I said, man, I hope that this is not one of those sex trafficking cases, because it really seemed like it was just something so odd. It was something odd that was going on. Since this is rampant in this particular country, and you have a lot of people that are engaged in this, pedophilia and sexual child abuse is very high. You want to know how high it is? I bet a lot of y'all could probably at least name 5 people, even including yourselves, who have been molested as a child or have been sexually abused as a child. I'm pretty sure, and you don't have to say it in the chat, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys have probably had someone sexually abuse you. I thank God that I've never had that happen to me, but I sympathize for people who have actually had that happen to them. I'm not here. We already know what the world is going to do. The world is wicked. The world is, the world rejects God. And what happens, this is what happens when man rejects God. And when he's left up to his own devices, he's going to choose sin. And some of the most wickedest things that the heart can conjure, man is going to try to carry that out. But you want to know what's alarming, though? This is going to hit the church. If they lower the age of consent, if they normalize pedophilia, this is going to run through the church, and you think that the church is divided now. If they lower the age of consent and they normalize pedophilia, this is going to change a lot of people's lives. I foresee men divorcing their wives so they can go and marry some little 12 or 13-year-old girl. I foresee that. I foresee men abandoning their families, women that they've been married to for years, to go and fulfill their sexual desires with these children. All you got to do is look at the guy, what was his name? Josh Duggar. The guy who was on the 19 Kids Accounting, Josh Duggar. He's in prison right now for child sex abuse. Great, raised in a Christian home. You see what I'm saying? This will be the straw that'll break the camel's back in the church. And there's a lot of people that y'all may see now that you may think that it's on fire for the Lord. This may be a test that's bigger than some people if they normalize pedophilia. A lot of wickedness is going to come out. Even when you look at Hebrew Israelite camps, like GMS, right? Yeah, honestly says that it's already in the church. But think about if they normalize it. Think about the normalization of that. Because, and I'm going to tell you, once they normalize it, you know what they're going to say? You know what the next fight is going to be? Well, if a child can choose their own gender, then a child should be able to choose who they want to have sexual relations with. That's going to be the next fight. That's going to be the next argument. The new argument is going to be that we should allow children to love who they want to love, and whatever adult person, whoever they want to love, they should be able to love them as well. And it's going to get to a point to where if a person says, I want to be with your child, and if your child consents, then there's going to be nothing that you can do. They'll pass that into law. It ain't far-fetched. Just by that video that we watched, this is stuff that's coming down the pike. It's coming. That's why right now as the church, that's why we have to start focusing on the Word of God. We have to start preaching sin and repentance, and we got to start preaching the gospel. We don't have time to be running around here waiting on the end of the world, waiting to see what Russia gonna do, what China gonna do. Now you need to be discipling your children right now, discipling your family. We have conversations with our children all the time about this stuff, because this is the way that the enemy is trying to attack the family. And I believe that he's already attacked the head of the household, the men. He's attacked the women. Now he's attacking the kids. That's why we have to make sure that we have a firm foundation in our households. So, I mean, just scary times that we're living in, you guys. Scary times, man. Listen, I am going to read some of these comments. I know I've missed some of them. And I'm actually about to get out of here in a minute because I got to start cooking. Remy Canadian says, yet there's no rules. Oh, okay. He's talking about what we were talking about earlier. Lily T. Hey, Sister Lily T. How you doing? I'm sorry, TT Mal. TT Mal. Didn't see you slide in. Spanish Fly says, in my state, the age of consent for sex is 16, and a man of any age can marry a female as young as 9. 48 states have laws like this with certain restrictions. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah. Richard D says, and parents are co-signing this madness. And I am going to, I'm going to reveal something that I just found out. And I found this about 2 years ago. Well, actually, I'm not going to share that. I don't think I'm going to share that. But I will say that I found out that a family member, come to find out that they were actually prostituted out by their mother. You know what I'm saying? At a young age. And that person just really despised their mother. You know what I'm saying? They really despised their mother for that, and they never just had a great relationship after that. So I mean, this is something that is wicked, and it's coming down the pike. And like I said, this is an argument. This is something that's you guys. We're gonna really have to prepare for with Christians. You know, honestly said it was already normalized. The irony is that the public schools and labor laws stopped a lot of it. Many of us have grandmothers who were married at 14, 15 to 16. It was already there. Yeah, exactly. Like my grandmother, she was married, I think, at 16. JT Max says, no more prosperity gospel nonsense. No more name and claim it. No more empty prophecies. Yeah, for real. Yeah, because I mean, we literally cannot afford it. We cannot spiritually afford it right now. Yep. Yeah, she said that she had a few months that were married before 16. Yep. If possible, pull your kids out of these public schools. Yeah, me and my wife, we pulled our kids out of the public schools. Um, oh, it's been about 6 years. No, about 6, 7 years ago. We took our kids out of public school, and we've been homeschooling them ever since. One of the greatest decisions that we've made, and I highly encourage it. If you can do it, I highly encourage it. If you really want to do it, make provisions to do so. I had to quit my job and pick up some extra work, some extra side work, so therefore my wife could stop working and be home with the kids. It's another reason why I'm doing this traveling job, because I want to be able to make enough money to support the household. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the third world countries, a lot of grown men and married minors. Yeah, I think it was one Middle Eastern country where just sick stuff, man. Where these guys would marry these little girls. I'm talking about as young as like 8, 9 years old. And by them having intercourse with them would damage them on their insides. And if some of these girls started to menstruate early and they started producing eggs early, some of these girls would get pregnant, but their bodies would be so small that they wouldn't be able to have a baby vaginally, right? I mean, just it's some sick stuff out there. It's some sick stuff. It's some sick stuff. It says 1 out of 3 females and 1 out of 5 males have reported being molested. Pray for this world, not just for this country. Pray for this world. But yeah, guys, I am getting ready to get up out of here. Um, I got to get ready to head out. And I do thank you guys for tuning in tonight with this live stream. But I also, on a lighter note, I do want to inform you guys that probably starting next Sunday, I am going to start covering the Apocrypha, right? Start covering the books of the Apocrypha. We're going to be going through and examining how they got into the Bible, why they were taken out. So that's going to be like a new series that I'm going to be starting on Sundays. It's going to be like a Sunday teaching that I'm going to be doing. So you guys be prepared for that. So starting next Sunday, I plan on covering the canon, how we get the canon, how do we get the Bibles that we have in the book, right? How do we get the 66? Why is it the 66 and not the 120 something or the 80 something that we get from these other canons, like the Ethiopian canon or the Eastern Orthodox or the Catholic? You know, how do we get to that? So that is I'm going to start that next Sunday. That is going to be my next series that I'm going to do. And I think that I don't have like a certain amount of videos or a certain amount of topics that I'm going to cover on this. This is kind of going to be, I won't say like a freestyle, but as information comes up and if I think that it needs to be covered, I'm going to cover it on the live stream. So it's not like I'm going to do a 4 or 5 part series. It's just going to be, we're just going to be covering the apocryphal books. We're going to be covering the information because I think that right now what we have to do is we're hearing a lot of people talk about the Apocrypha and they're using it and they're putting it alongside of scripture, and especially with TikTok and all of this stuff going on, all of this, they're saying that these books are hidden from you and there's been a conspiracy to hide the information and they don't want you knowing this. So I've taken it upon myself to actually cover this and to show why we don't accept the apocryphal writings as scripture, or why, we don't hold it with the same authority that we do with the 66. So that is something that we are going to be discussing in the next coming weeks. And I'm not saying that it's going to be consistent every week, because there might be something that I may want to cover on Sunday that I may not be able to do. I may not be able to cover the subject of the Apocrypha that Sunday. But it depends. But, you know, you guys just, you know, get ready to be geared up for that. Spanish Fly says, he said, I just started my research into Apocrypha and Pseudepigrapha books. So yeah, that is actually going to be my journey as well. He says, the Apocryphal. He says, I downloaded that app. All right. Yeah. Spanish Fly says, what is the age of consent of marriage in the Bible? To be honest, I'm not sure. I really don't even know. But I know that there are some people who do have their, what do you call it? They have their speculations about how the culture was back then, and, you know, like the marrying age and what was considered okay. I know that Muhammad, that's, you know, the Prophet Muhammad of Islam, he married a 6-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? He consummated the marriage at 9. So I don't know if that was something that was considered, if that was considered the norm for back then, or if it was just, you know, one of those rare cases. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, let me get ready to get up out of here, guys. I gotta finish preparing for tomorrow. And yeah, that's basically it. Alright, so listen, thank you guys for all showing up today. You know, thank you guys for being a part of the live stream. Make sure you guys hit that like button, you know, hit that notifications bell. And like I said, I may be doing some live streams throughout the week. You guys just be on the lookout for that. And you guys pray for safe travels. I will be in Indianapolis next week. And like I said, I don't know, I don't really have much more to say, you guys. Anyway, as always, hit that like button, rate, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and I will see you guys next time.